All right, chat. Michael Moore has written an article that I wanted to read to you today. A Manifesto Against For-Profit Health Insurance Companies by Michael Moore. I hereby give you my Oscar-nominated documentary on the killer health insurance companies like United Healthcare, Sicko, for free. And let's end and replace the so-called healthcare system now. It's been 3 days since Luigi Mangione's manifesto was discovered in his backpack, explaining why he assassinated the CEO of United Healthcare. In Mangione's manifesto, he said he was not the most qualified person to lay out the full argument against our for-profit health insurance industry. Apparently, Mangione, one of those qualified people, is me. In his manifesto, he references how I've illuminated the corruption and greed, implying folks should go to my work to understand the complexity and the power-hungry abuse within our current system. It's not often that my work gets a killer 5-star review from an actual killer. And thus, my phone has been ringing off the hook, which is bad news because my phone doesn't have a hook. Emails are pouring in, text messages, requests from many in the media. The messages all sound something like this. Luigi mentioned you in his manifesto, that people should listen to you. Will you come on our show or talk to our reporter and tell them that you condemn murder? Do I condemn murder? That's an odd question. And Fahrenheit, first of all, can I just say Michael Moore is by far and away my favorite liberal, because he's not really a liberal. He's hiding his power level, and you could tell that. Sometimes he does things that I find cringe. Sometimes he makes arguments that don't appeal to me. But the thing about him is, you don't catch him punching left. You don't hear Michael Moore going, "Oh, those damn trans people! Oh, those damn kids protesting Gaza! Punch, punch, punch!" You never hear him say that shit ever. You only hear him reference, you hear him, sometimes he'll say, vote for Democrats. They're so much better than Republicans. But you never, ever hear him going like, oh, those fucking protesters and all those unionists and their strikes. No, you never hear him once. Do I condemn murder? That's an odd question. In Fahrenheit 9/11, I condemn the murder of hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqi people and the senseless murder of our own American soldiers at the hands of our American government. In Bowling for Columbine, I condemn the murder of 50,000 Americans every year at the hands of our gun industry and how our politicians will do nothing to stop it. In my 35 years as a filmmaker, have I said or done anything that has implied I condone murder? As a teenager during the Vietnam War, I was required to register for the draft at the local draft board. There was a box on the form asking if I had a problem with the killing Vietnamese people. Actually, it just asked me to check the box if I was going to file for conscientious objector status, meaning, if given the opportunity, would I swear that I will never kill a Vietnamese person? I checked the box. Throughout my adult life, I have repeatedly stated that I'm a pacifist. In fact, I never struck another human in my life, not even on the playground. I was taller and bigger than the other boys, so they mostly left me alone. Usually, I was the one who would try to stop the bullies from picking on the smaller kids. When they start swinging at me, I would wrap my arms around them, pinning their arms to their sides in my human straitjacket and not letting them go until they stopped. Here's a sad statistic for you. In the United States, we have a whopping 1.4 million people employed with the job of denying healthcare versus only 1 million doctors in the entire country. That's all you need to know about America. We pay more people to deny care than give it. 1 million doctors to give care, 1.4 million brutes in cubicles doing their best to stop doctors from giving that care. If the purpose of healthcare is to keep people alive, then what is the purpose of denying people healthcare, other than to kill them? I definitely condemn that kind of murder. And in fact, I already did. In 2007, I made a film, Sicko, about America's bloodthirsty, profit-driven, and murderous health insurance system. It was nominated for an Oscar. It's the second largest grossing film of my career after Fahrenheit 9/11. And over the past 15 years, millions upon millions of people have watched it, including, apparently, Luigi Mangione. After the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare, the largest of these billion-dollar insurance companies, there was an immediate outpouring of anger toward the health insurance industry. Some people have stepped forward to condemn this anger. I am not one of them. The anger is 1,000% justified. It is long overdue for the media to cover it. It is not new. It has been boiling. And I'm not going to tamp it down or ask people to shut up I want to pour gasoline on that anger. Because this anger is not about the killing of a CEO. If everyone who was angry was ready to kill the CEOs would already be dead. This is not what this reaction is about. It is about mass death and misery. The physical pain, the mental abuse, the medical debt, the bankruptcies in the face of denied claims and denied care and bottomless deductibles on top of ballooning premiums that this health insurance industry has levied against the American people for decades. With no one standing in their way, just a government, two broken parties enabling this industry's theft and, yes, murder. And now the press is calling me to ask, why are people angry, Mike? Do you condemn murder, Mike? I think this is so true. Like, this is why he doesn't go on TV, because he would say he doesn't condemn it, and they would fucking blacklist him from everything. So he's smartly not going on TV. Yes, I condemn murder, and that's why I condemn America's broken, vile, rapacious, bloodthirsty, unethical, immoral healthcare industry, and I condemn every one of the CEOs who are in charge of it, and I condemn every politician who takes their money and keeps the system going instead of tearing it up, ripping it apart, and throwing it all away. We need to replace this system with something sane, something caring and loving, something that keeps people alive. This is a moment where we can create that change. But instead, what are we doing? What are our leaders doing? What is the Democratic Party doing? This is what they are doing. This is why people are angry. Listen to it, Everyday American on TikTok.
I am still watching the reactions of establishment Democratic politicians to this United Healthcare assassination and increasingly realize why we lost the election. I mean, just the totally missing the moment, missing the point, repeating all these empty platitudes like violence is never the answer. And instead of responding to all of the outpouring of sympathy and cynicism and outrage, not towards the shooter, but to our healthcare system, Democrats spend no time speaking or even trying to understand what is the rage and dissatisfaction that drives ordinary people to support a cold-blooded murderer. Well, not only none of the problems get solved, but all of them get actively worse. And that the only place to channel the rage is through the right's alternative, the right's presentation of an anti-establishment candidate in Donald Trump, who will not solve any of the problems that people care about, but is the last protest vote that people have to register their disdain and contempt for a broken system. As long as Democrats are seen widely to be the party that is the spokesperson for the system most Americans despise, and that events like this just allow that reality to burst forth to the surface in a dramatic way, we will never recapture the political discourse from the right.
And here's a perfect example of what the young man in that video is talking about. At a press conference this week, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro repeatedly grabbed the spotlight to say this.
Violence can never be used to address political differences or to address a substantive difference or to try and prove some ideological point. That is not what we do in a civilized society. That was true in Butler. It was true in New York City, and it's true anywhere. That is not how you make progress in this country. The suspect here, who shot at that CEO and killed that CEO, is a coward, not a hero.
Shapiro wasn't alone. After last week's killing, which was just one more gun death in an unending sea of American gun deaths, our Democratic leaders all chimed in to say, America, we don't solve our problems in our ideological dispute with violence. And that there's no place for political violence in America. No place for political violence? America's entire history is defined by political violence. This is the thing that Destiny wouldn't know. We slaughtered because he doesn't read books. We slaughtered the native people who already lived here. We enslaved and slaughtered the African people our founding fathers kidnapped and brought here. We, to this day, force women in our country to give birth against their will. 77 million Americans just voted in November to approve Trump mobilizing the U.S. military to round up and forcibly remove immigrants, dead or alive, from our country. We spent $8 trillion in the last 20 years bombing and slaughtering people in the Middle East. We are spending billions and billions of dollars right now to bomb and kill and starve and exterminate men and women and children in Gaza. And you, our leaders, are telling us there's no place for political violence in America? People across America are not celebrating the brutal murder of a father of 2 kids from Minnesota. They are screaming for help. They are telling you what's wrong. They are saying that this system is not just and it's not right and it cannot continue. They want retribution. They want justice. They want health care. And they want to use their money to live, not throw it away each month into a black hole of insurance premiums, only to discover when the time finally comes to use their insurance, when the leg breaks or the car crashes or the gun accidentally goes off, their health insurance company is not there to help them, but to deny their claim, bankrupt them with deductibles and copays, and give them the runabout until their spirit is broken and they just want to give up and wait to die. But the politicians and the pundits and the headlines are telling you that. Just like they are telling you the truth about this crime. They're so busy telling you not to riot and not to participate in an uprising against their advertisers and campaign funders that they won't tell you what this really is. A rich on rich crime. Luigi, a young rich man with a couple Ivy League degrees, scion of a family that owns 2 of the biggest country clubs in Maryland and who is on the line to inherit a chain of nursing homes. In other words, scion of a family that's enriched themselves off a broken healthcare system by bilking retirees and their families in their end of days. This young rich man with an axe to grind against another multimillionaire, a CEO facing a Justice Department antitrust investigation, as well as accusations of bilking taxpayers and Medicare Medicaid schemes, and of participating in illegal insider trading. On Monday, the mainstream media was breathlessly reporting about Luigi's manifesto. On Tuesday, though the manifesto was leaked, the mainstream media refused to publish it. By Wednesday, with the whiff of perfectly choreographed PR move, the mainstream media stopped calling it a manifesto, and now it was a letter or confession or rantings. Some of the words were indecipherable. It wasn't a manifesto, it was nonsense. Clearly, the health insurance companies were immediately spending millions of dollars on publicists and lobbyists to convince each of the networks to send out a memo to their anchors and reporters banning the word manifesto in the desperate hope that the American public would not be inspired to rise up, not with violence, but with the immense power they already hold in their own hands. Because the numbers don't lie. There are only 800 billionaires in this country. 6 million millionaires and 160 million of you reading this right now who are living from paycheck to paycheck and literally cannot afford the rent. For God's sake, don't call that he wrote a manifesto, because the one mistake the rich have made is that those 160 million working class people were taught free of charge to read. I don't know. When Lyndon Johnson used the manufactured Gulf of Tonkin incident to launch the Vietnam War, his address to the nation was 546 words long. LBJ's manifesto ended with the pledge that America's mission is peace. That mission ended with the pointless deaths of 58,220 American soldiers and 4 million people in Southeast Asia. When George W. Bush addressed the nation in the night of shock and awe, his manifesto was 578 words. In it, he promised that the people we liberate will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military. George's words killed nearly 5,000 American service members and countless thousands of Iraqis. 163 years ago, half our country, desperate to keep enslaving people, launched the Civil War, leading to President Abraham Lincoln's manifesto, the Gettysburg Address, which is just 262 words long. Luigi Mangioni's manifesto, it's also 262 words long. But don't get me wrong, no one needs to die. In fact, that's my point. No one needs to die. No one should die because they don't have health insurance. Not one single person should die because their health insurance denies their health care in order to make a buck or 32 billion bucks. These insurance corporations and their executives have more blood on their hands than 1,000 9/11 terrorists. And that's why they're scrubbing their executive profiles from their websites and putting up fences around their headquarters because they know what they have done. You can't be a CEO of a company where you knowingly deny care to people, often leading to their deaths, and not have people mad at you because people hate you, people who have no pity for you because you have no pity for them. But I have a solution. No one has to kill anyone, and it doesn't cost anything. I have a solution that does not involve any violence. Unless violence to you means us taking money out of your rich effing pockets. Unless violence to you means you can't send your kids to USC or UPenn or buy a third vacation home or a fourth Tesla or a fifth Land Rover or another yacht. The solution is simple. Throw this entire system in the trash. Dismantle this immoral business that profits off the lives of human beings and monetizes our deaths, that murders us or leaves us to die. Destroy it all. And instead, in its place, give us all the same healthcare that every other civilized country on earth has. Universal, free, compassionate, and full of life. Give us Scotland, give us Uruguay, give us Taiwan, give us Canada, or give us death. Go ahead and deny us all now the care that we will someday need. Or give us Canada, and let's get busy curling. And now, what I would like is for everyone reading this to watch my movie, Sicko. And then when it's over, join me in condemning this murderous health insurance system. Here it is. You can watch it right here, right now for free. And please, please share it with your friends and family. Everybody knows about the GOAT. Everybody knows about the GOAT. His name is Michael Moore.